Alright everyone, we've reached the middle of another week. Celtic have reached the United States of America. Great country. We've also finally signed a player at long last, and there's a number of other things going on as well. So no shortage of talking points today. Hope you enjoyed my chat with Eric Sviatchenko yesterday. You seem to have gone by the comments. Eric, great guy, really nice guy, gave up a fair amount of his time, I would say, to speak to me about his former teammate Kasper Schmeichel. So definitely check that video if you haven't already. Seems to be a lot of love for Eric, and rightly so. He gave his all when he played for Celtic. And he seems to be really happy now playing in the MLS with Houston Dynamo, kind of excelling at the moment as well. I think he said he was 32 years old. So it's great to hear, and a big thanks to him for coming on the channel. I'm going to try and press on with more of these kind of interviews so that it's not just me on the channel. That was always the case, that, you know, the first 6 months coming back at the end of last season, etc., I was going to kind of take it slowly, get back into the swing of things, but we're going to press on now, so you've got all of that to look forward to. So what's going on? Celtic have signed a player. It is a goalkeeper. It's not Kasper Schmeichel though. It is a Finnish international. Finnish? He's only getting started. 22-year-old Viljami Sinisalo has joined us for around £1 million from Aston Villa, and he's one for the future, joining on a 5-year deal. So this all happened yesterday. He was announced. He gave his usual Celtic TV interview. He's in the States already with his new teammates, and he's even delivered a message to the Celtic support where he doesn't sound Finnish at all.
Hello Celtic fans, it's Viljami Sinisalo here. Just wanted to tell you how excited I am of this opportunity to play for your football club, and I'll always show great passion to play, and you'll always see someone who's willing to work hard and do his very best for the football club. So hopefully see you soon.
Right, a couple of things to note from that. He pronounced his name Viljami Sinisalo, so just as it's written. Probably won't change your referring to him as Sinisole or something for the first 6 months of the season, but just wanted to get that out there. When I heard him speak in that Brummie accent, it immediately reminded me of someone, and it took me a wee while just to work out. I knew it was a former Celtic player. It took me a while to kind of work out exactly who it was, and then it just clicked, and it's Fraser Forster. Now I don't know how to explain this until you actually hear it yourself and go and listen to our new goalkeeper and our former goalkeeper speaking. I know Forster has a kind of northeast accent. I think he's from Hexham, which I believe is up there. And, you know, Sinisalo, it sounds a kind of Brummie accent, which would make sense given he's been at Aston Villa for a number of years. Not sure why it's quite that thick, given he was in Finland, I think, till 2017, 2018, but whatever. They've got slightly different accents, but as I say, I can't quite explain it unless you go and listen to them. It's like the same pitch, the same tone, the same way they kind of speak. So it's very interesting, and one of those things, once you hear it, you'll kind of be unable to unhear it. If he does half as well as Fraser Forster did with us, we're going to have a pretty good goalkeeper. He does sound very confident for a 22-year-old. Just the way he was addressing the Celtic support, you can tell he's someone who will be pretty confident in front of the media. I don't necessarily expect him to be doing too many media duties out with his kind of original one after signing, given that he's probably not going to play a lot of football over the next couple of years. But I think, you know, going forward, which is clearly the plan for him to be Celtic number one, he sounds already, first day in at the club, 22 years old. He sounds like someone who has the personality to, you know, be a loud voice in that changing room, and to be a Celtic goalkeeper in years to come. It's very obvious what the plan is here. You'll all know it, but I'll just spell it out anyway. We're going to bring in Sinisalo. He signed a 5-year contract, and initially he's not going to be our number one goalkeeper. That's very clearly going to be Kasper Schmeichel, who we expect to be announced imminently. Could be today, could be tomorrow. So Schmeichel's going to come in and very obviously be our number one to begin with. 1 season, probably 2. And while that's happening, in the background, you're going to have Sinisalo just getting to know his surroundings, getting to know the club, the manager, and learn from someone like Kasper Schmeichel, who I believe is a bit of an idol for him, and will have been growing up. And then I guess in, 2, maybe 3 years, when Schmeichel moves on, probably retires, like Joe Hart with Celtic being his final club, you'll have Sinisalo coming into the fold and being our number one. I think that's the plan. Whether things work out like that, you never know. But it's as supporters, we always want Celtic to have this kind of succession planning. So it's very kind of appealing and pleasing to actually see this very obviously being the case. So I think I'm not alone in thinking this is pretty good from a Celtic point of view, and probably just about as good as we could have hoped, given that such a big figure like Joe Hart left us at the end of last season. On Sinisalo himself, I guess the big question you're probably asking is he any good? And I don't know the answer to that yet. I'm hoping to have an interview on the channel finding out a little bit more about him, and that should tell us a bit more. He seems to be pretty highly rated, especially by Exeter City fans. That's where he spent last season. Did very well with them. They seem to rate him very highly. Also very interesting to see some of the replies from Aston Villa fans to their club's announcement yesterday that he had left to join Celtic. Yeah, just look at some of those replies in there. People hoping that it's not a permanent transfer. It obviously is. Others questioning their club losing him. And fair to say, there's a bit of frustration there. So I guess that's a good sign. He seems to be quite highly rated. And, we have to trust Celtic's recruitment team here. Brendan Rodgers says it's someone we've had our eye on for a while. So, dare I say it, well done Celtic. I think this goalkeeping situation, once we obviously, sign Schmeichel, we can tick that off, and that's hopefully going to be sorted for a number of years to come. I would hope that Sinisalo would get some of the early cup games next season and we'd see a very obvious plan. Scott Bain's obviously going to remain there, probably as number 3 now. And I'm guessing Ben Siegrist is going to be off. Yeah, so Sinisalo in, Kasper Schmeichel will be very soon. Latest in him, he's said to have had a medical in Italy yesterday, and he'll be flying out to the USA either today or possibly tomorrow. Paulo Bernardo looks set to join as well. Stephen McGowan among those reporting that we have agreed a £3.5 million fee for him with Benfica, with terms now being worked out. So that's all well and good. My thoughts have been made abundantly clear on Bernardo. I think there's more to him than we saw last season. I don't think he was bad last season, but I just think that might be a pretty good signing. I sense that seems to be the kind of general feeling as well, that people are quite happy with Bernardo coming in. Right, Adam Idah. Flight Radar got a good workout yesterday, it's fair to say, when Adam Idah teased us with this post on Instagram. It took me ages to work out what that was, if that was like a model plane. Turns out that's just a plane emoji. Very small one on the runway there. Not the runway, just whatever you call the bit where you taxi and all that. Turns out that he was off to Austria though with Norwich City. So, hold fire for now, everyone. We still expect Adam Idah to come in. Hopefully it's done sooner rather than later. There's also been talk about a Royal Antwerp winger, Michel Ange Balikwisha. He looks promising, very direct, but it's too early, I would say, to say for sure if we're fully interested. But things are starting to happen. I'd still be hoping for some news on the left-back front. There's just been none of that this summer. Slight concern, maybe the club are just kind of sorting out these deals first, and then they'll move to that centre-back obviously as well. And then there were kind of a few other maybe positions. Matt O'Reilly we think is probably going to leave. There just seems to be too much speculation about O'Reilly for him not to be heading this summer. Juventus now linked, Atalanta are there, obviously, like Southampton, Atletico Madrid, a number of other teams linked to Matt O'Reilly this summer, so I'm guessing he's going to be heading. We'll deal with that when it comes. Plenty of work still to be done, but I think if we get the signings we're talking about, Schmeichel, Idah, Bernardo over the line, we can kind of calm down. I think everyone will be feeling a hell of a lot better than we were a week or so ago. Team have arrived in Washington DC as we gear up for our first match of the tour. It's against DC United this weekend. Squad seems to be a bit stronger, number of familiar faces out with the team. Still missing a few obvious guys, but things are kind of coming into gear, and there's still a number of our key players we haven't even seen play yet this pre-season. So the US tour is going to be huge for us in terms of this coming campaign. Several other wee stories that I've come across and just kind of noted down over the last 24 to 48 hours just to bring to your attention. Our former coach Harry Kuehl has been sacked by Yokohama F. Marinos after a disappointing start to the season. They're 12th in J1 League at the moment and trending downwards. So after real success with a number of Aussie coaches, most notably Ange Postecoglou over the last few years, it hasn't worked out this season, at least, with Harry Kuehl, and he is now jobless. We apparently beat Burnley 3-1 in a closed-door friendly at the weekend. This is kind of the first I'd heard of it. Turfcast reporting this. The chat also seems to be that Odin Thiago Holm netted one of our goals, and, wait for this, Mikey Johnson scored the other two. Food for thought, perhaps. Talking of doubles, our out on loan forward Johnny Kenny netted twice as Shamrock Rovers got past Icelandic side Vikingur Reykjavik in the UEFA Champions League qualifying last night. He's out there on loan until the end of the Irish season, at the end of November, I believe. So he seems to be doing quite well there. Not sure he's ever going to be able to really step up for us. There's an argument if he was at, a Celtic player right now and not out on loan, he would potentially be in the United States, because we basically don't have any strikers other than Kyogo at the moment. He's doing quite well. Let's just see how things go there. And Alistair Johnson and his partner have got engaged, with Johnson popping the question at Turnberry and just generally looking very smooth in the photos. Congratulations to him and his partner. Been a very good summer for Alistair Johnson. And I'm guessing he'll be jetting out to join the team at some stage, given a little bit of time off and joining us probably for our second match in the United States. I'll be getting Stevie's thoughts on that engagement and all of the other news tomorrow, so he's going to come back on the channel. Speak to you then, everyone.